Welcome to the enigmatic world of the Black Nobility, where powerful families shaped history from behind the scenes. Why do these ancient bloodlines still captivate us today? Discover untold stories of influence, intrigue, and lasting legacy on European politics. Let's uncover the secrets behind their enduring influence. Historical background. The Black Nobility refers to certain aristocratic families in Italy, particularly Rome, who were loyal to the papacy and remained influential in the Catholic Church after the loss of the Papal States in the 19th century. Their influence spans centuries, particularly tied to their support of the Vatican. A broad timeline of the Black Nobility presented for your attention provides an overview of the historical context and evolution of the Black Nobility, reflecting their long-standing association with the Catholic Church and the papacy. 8th century. Donation of Pepin, 756 AD, the Papal States are established, giving the Pope temporal control over central Italy. This begins the close relationship between the papacy and certain noble families, who benefit from the Pope's political and territorial power. 12th–14th century. Formation of influential families. Several noble families begin to rise in prominence due to their service to the papacy. These include the Colonna, Orsini, and Conti families. 15th century. Consolidation of power. The Black Nobility solidify their influence as the papacy becomes a more centralized power in Rome. They benefit from ecclesiastical positions, military power, and wealth accumulation. 16th century. Counter-Reformation, 1545 to 1648. The Black Nobility support the Church during the Counter-Reformation, reinforcing their status as protectors of the Catholic faith. Families like the Farneses and Borghese rise in prominence. 17th–18th century. Baroque Rome and patronage. Many Black Nobility families patronize art and architecture, contributing to Rome's Baroque-era splendor. The papacy relies heavily on these families for military and financial support. 19th century. Napoleon and the decline of papal temporal power. After Napoleon's invasion of Italy, the Papal States face increasing pressure. The Black Nobility, loyal to the Pope, lose some power as the papal territories shrink. Loss of Papal States, 1870. The Italian unification movement culminates in the annexation of the Papal States by the Kingdom of Italy. The Pope's temporal power is limited to the Vatican, and the Black Nobility's role shifts towards more symbolic and ceremonial functions. 20th century. Lateran Treaty, 1929. The Vatican is established as an independent state, with the Black Nobility continuing to serve the papacy in various capacities, though the political power is now largely symbolic. World War II and aftermath. Some members of the Black Nobility remain influential in Italian society and politics. The war and post-war periods see a decline in the traditional influence, though they maintain strong ties with the Vatican. 21st century. Modern era. Today, the Black Nobility exist as part of Italy's aristocratic heritage, with some members still involved in Catholic Church affairs and Vatican activities. Their role is mostly ceremonial, reflecting the historical relationship between the Church and these noble families. The term, Black Nobility, emerged in the 19th century, particularly after the fall of the Papal States in 1870, when Italy was unified under the Kingdom of Italy. The Papal States, a series of territories in central Italy under the direct sovereignty of the Pope, had been defended and governed with the help of noble families loyal to the papacy. When the Papal States were annexed by the newly unified Italian kingdom, these families remained loyal to the Pope, who had lost his temporal power but continued to assert spiritual authority. The term, Black, was used to distinguish these families from those who supported the new Italian government, with Black symbolizing their mourning for the papacy's lost political power and their ongoing allegiance to the Pope. During the height of the Papal States, the Black Nobility played a crucial role in maintaining the Pope's authority. They provided military and political support, often acting as enforcers of papal decrees and protectors of the Church's interests. These families held significant land and titles within the Papal States and were integral to the administration and defense of the papal territories. Their influence extended into the broader Italian peninsula, where they often held important positions within the Church, such as cardinals or bishops, and played key roles in the politics of the various Italian city-states and kingdoms. The Black Nobility's power was not only rooted in their military and political roles but also in their economic wealth, derived from vast estates, trade, and sometimes banking. After the unification of Italy, many of these families remained influential in Rome and continued to support the Vatican's interests, even as the political landscape of Italy changed dramatically. Their continued loyalty to the Pope after the loss of the Papal States marked them as staunch defenders of the Church's spiritual authority. Several prominent families are historically associated with the Black Nobility, each playing significant roles in both the Vatican and Italian history. Filled Circle Orsini family, one of the oldest and most powerful families in Rome, the Orsini were staunch allies of the papacy. They produced numerous cardinals, bishops, and even a pope. Their influence extended across Italy and beyond, and they were known for their military prowess and political cunning. Filled Circle Colonna family, rivals to the Orsini, the Colonna family was another dominant force in Roman and papal politics. They, too, produced several high-ranking church officials and were deeply involved in the power struggles within the Papal States. Filled Circle Pallavicini family. The Pallavicini were a noble family with significant influence in the Vatican, known for their wealth and political connections. They played important roles in the administration of the Papal States and were key figures in the defense of the papacy. Filled Circle Massimo family. The Massimo family is one of the oldest noble families in Rome, with a history that stretches back to ancient times. They were loyal supporters of the papacy and held various important positions within the Church and the Papal States. These families, among others, formed the backbone of the Black Nobility, using their influence to support the papacy and maintain the Church's power in Italy and beyond. Their legacy continues to be a topic of interest for historians and conspiracy theorists alike, with many believing that the descendants still hold significant, albeit hidden, power in global affairs. We will talk more in detail about the key families below, but for now, let's move on to the chapter, The Influence of the Black Nobility. The influence of the Black Nobility. The Black Nobility held significant political power in Italy, particularly within the Papal States, where they were key players in maintaining the Pope's temporal authority. Their influence extended beyond Italy, with many of these families establishing alliances with other European nobility and royal houses. This network of connections allowed them to exert influence on broader European politics, often acting as intermediaries between the Vatican and secular rulers. Their wealth and landholdings also gave them economic power, which they used to support their political ambitions and secure their family's status across generations. The Black Nobility was deeply intertwined with the Vatican, providing both military and financial support to the papacy. Many members of these families held high-ranking positions within the Church, such as cardinals, bishops, and even popes. This allowed them to shape church policy and influence key decisions within the Vatican. Their loyalty to the Pope, especially during times of conflict or when the papal authority was under threat, was instrumental in preserving the Church's power. Even after the loss of the Papal States, the Black Nobility continued to play a significant role in Vatican affairs, often acting as protectors and advisors to the Pope. The Black Nobility's influence extended into the broader European aristocracy, where they maintained close ties with other noble families and royal courts. Their marriages and alliances helped to spread their influence across Europe, allowing them to play a role in the governance of various European states. The Black Nobility's commitment to preserving the Catholic faith also meant that they were often involved in efforts to counter the spread of Protestantism and other religious movements that threatened the Church's authority. Their impact on European governance was therefore not only political but also religious, as they worked to maintain the Catholic Church's dominance in Europe. Next, we will take a closer look at the prominent families of the Black Nobility. Prominent families of the Black Nobility. The Black Nobility consists of several prominent families, including the Orsini, Colonna, Pallavicini, and Massimo families, among others. Each of these families played a significant role in the political and religious life of Italy, particularly in Rome. They were known for their wealth, military prowess, and close ties to the Vatican. These families often intermarried with other European nobility, further extending their influence across the continent. Let's get to know each of the aforementioned families better. Orsini family. The Orsini family is one of the oldest and most influential noble families in Rome, with a history that dates back to the early Middle Ages. The Orsini were staunch supporters of the papacy, and their influence was felt not just in Rome but across the Italian peninsula. Over the centuries, the Orsini produced numerous cardinals, bishops, and even a pope, Nicholas III, who reigned from 1277 to 1280. The family played a crucial role in the political and military affairs of the Papal States and were key players in the Guelph-Ghibelline conflicts, supporting the papal side, Guelphs, against the Holy Roman Emperor's supporters, Ghibellines. The Orsini were also known for their fierce rivalry with the Colonna family, another powerful Roman noble family. This rivalry often led to violent conflicts, with both families vying for control over key territories and influence within the church. The Orsini's military prowess and political cunning allowed them to accumulate vast lands and wealth, which they used to reinforce their power base in central Italy. Today, the Orsini family, like many of the ancient Roman noble families, has largely transitioned from political power to a more symbolic and social role within Italian society. The family still holds significant estates and retains its noble titles, but their influence is now more associated with their historical legacy rather than active political engagement. The Orsini name remains prestigious, and members of the family are often involved in cultural and charitable activities, maintaining their status as part of Italy's aristocratic heritage. Colonna family. The Colonna family, like the Orsini, is one of the most prominent and enduring noble families in Roman history. Their origins trace back to the 10th century, and they quickly became powerful allies of the Holy Roman Empire, often opposing the papacy in the Guelph-Ghibelline conflicts. The Colonna produced several cardinals and a pope, Martin V, who reigned from 1417 to 1431. Their influence extended beyond Rome, as they held significant territories throughout central Italy. The Colonna family's rivalry with the Orsini was one of the defining features of Roman politics for centuries. These two families were often at odds, and their conflicts were emblematic of the broader power struggles between the papal and imperial factions. The Colonna were also involved in the political machinations of the Renaissance, aligning themselves with various European powers to protect and expand their influence. Today, the Colonna family remains one of the most illustrious noble families in Italy. They still hold titles and estates, including the impressive Palazzo Colonna in Rome, which has been in the family since the 13th century. The Colonna family continues to be involved in cultural and philanthropic endeavors, and they maintain a significant presence in Rome's social and historical circles. While their political power has waned, the Colonna name still carries weight, symbolizing centuries of influence and prestige. Pallavicini family. The Pallavicini family is a noble family with roots in both Rome and Genoa. The family's influence grew significantly during the Renaissance when they became one of the wealthiest and most powerful families in Italy. The Pallavicini were heavily involved in banking, trade, and diplomacy, which allowed them to amass considerable wealth and establish important connections with other European noble families and royal courts. In addition to their economic power, the Pallavicini family played a crucial role in the administration of the Papal States. Members of the family held high-ranking positions within the church and were instrumental in defending the papacy's interests, both politically and militarily. The Pallavicini's ability to navigate the complex political landscape of Renaissance Italy made them key players in the broader European aristocracy. Today, the Pallavicini family remains influential, although their role is more cultural and philanthropic than political. The family continues to own significant estates, including the famous Villa Pallavicini in Rome, which is a symbol of their enduring legacy. The Pallavicini are also known for their contributions to the arts and culture, often supporting various charitable causes and preserving their historical heritage. While they no longer wield the same political power as they did in the past, the Pallavicini name is still associated with wealth, prestige, and a commitment to cultural preservation. Massimo family. The Massimo family is one of the oldest noble families in Rome, with a history that stretches back to ancient times. According to tradition, the family claims descent from the ancient Roman gens Fabia, making them one of the few families that can trace their lineage directly to the Roman Republic. The Massimo family has been a loyal supporter of the papacy for centuries, playing key roles in the administration and defense of the Papal States. Throughout history, the Massimo family held various important positions within the church and were deeply involved in the political and military affairs of Rome. The family's influence extended across Italy and beyond, as they formed alliances with other powerful noble families and played a significant role in the politics of the Italian city-states. The Massimo were known for their wealth, military prowess, and political acumen, which allowed them to maintain their status as one of Rome's most powerful families for centuries. Today, the Massimo family continues to be one of the most prestigious noble families in Italy. They retain the noble titles and estates, including the Grand Palazzo Massimo in Rome. The family remains active in cultural and charitable endeavors, often involved in the preservation of Italy's historical heritage. The Massimo name is still associated with ancient lineage, wealth, and a deep connection to Rome's history. While their political influence has diminished, the family continues to be a prominent part of Italy's aristocratic society, upholding the traditions and legacy of their storied past. Historically, these families were power brokers in the Papal States, acting as military leaders, advisors to the Pope, and influential figures in the Catholic Church. The Orsini and Colonna families, in particular, were involved in numerous conflicts and power struggle in Rome, often competing for dominance in the city. Today, while the political power of these families has waned, many of them still retain the noble titles and some degree of influence, particularly within Italian society and the Catholic Church. They also continue to be associated with significant cultural and charitable activities. And now, let's take a look at some of the conspiracy theories and popular myths about the Black Nobility. Myths versus reality. One of the most pervasive myths about the Black Nobility is the idea that they are part of a shadowy global elite that secretly controls world events. Conspiracy theories often portray the Black Nobility as puppet masters behind major political, financial, and social movements. Another common misconception is that the term, Black Nobility, refers to a sinister or malevolent group, whereas historically, the term simply denoted their loyalty to the papacy, especially during times of political transition in Italy. Let's look at some of the conspiracy theories that are taking place. The Black Nobility and the Committee of 300. The concept of the Committee of 300, also known as the Olympians, is a central theme in various conspiracy theories that suggest a hidden global elite controls world events and organizations from behind the scenes. The theory claims that this committee is an unofficial group of 300 powerful individuals, primarily from the aristocracy, including members of the so-called Black Nobility, who have allegedly conspired to control global finance, politics, and society. Proponents of the conspiracy theory assert that the Committee of 300 serves as the apex of global control, with a hierarchical structure that includes numerous subservient secret societies and organizations. The Committee of 300 allegedly orchestrates its influence through these groups, which include the Club of Rome, founded in 1968. The Club of Rome is an organization of global leaders and intellectuals focused on global issues such as sustainability and environmental concerns. In conspiracy theory circles, it is portrayed as a tool of the Committee of 300 to manipulate global population control and resource management. The Council on Foreign Relations, CFR. The CFR is a US-based think tank that plays a significant role in shaping American foreign policy. Conspiracy theories suggest it is a front for the Committee of 300's agenda, aiming to establish a new world order by influencing US and global politics. The Bilderberg Group, an annual conference attended by influential figures from Europe and North America. The Bilderberg Group is often depicted in conspiracy theories as a secretive meeting where the Committee of 300 directs world events. Other secret societies, the Freemasons, the Trilateral Commission, and various other groups are also alleged to be subservient to the Committee of 300, carrying out its orders to maintain control over global affairs. The idea of the Committee of 300 and its connection to the Black Nobility is a significant component of various conspiracy theories. However, it should be approached critically, recognizing the lack of verifiable evidence and the potential for these theories to misrepresent historical and contemporary events. The Jesuit Order. Below, we'll break down the historical aspects, clarify the context, and address the speculative elements. Founding of the Jesuit Order, the Society of Jesus, commonly known as the Jesuits, was officially founded in 1540 by Ignatius of Loyola, a former Spanish soldier turned religious leader. Pope Paul III, from the powerful Farnese family, approved the creation of the order through a papal bull, Regimini Militantis Ecclesiae. Ignatius became the first superior general of the Jesuits, often called the Black Pope, in reference to the black cassock traditionally worn by Jesuit priests, in contrast to the white worn by the Pope. The term, Black Pope, is sometimes used to imply that the Jesuit superior general wields significant influence within the Church, often overshadowing the Pope himself, a claim that is largely speculative. Mission of the Jesuits. The Jesuit order was established with a mission to counter the Protestant Reformation, evangelize non-Christian regions, and strengthen the Catholic Church through education, intellectual discourse, and missionary work. They became known for their schools, universities, and seminaries, which played a key role in spreading Catholic doctrine worldwide. Francis Borgia and Jesuit influence. Francis Borgia, the great-grandson of Pope Alexander VI and a descendant of Spanish royalty, joined the Jesuits later in life and became the third superior general of the order. His influence was significant in expanding the Jesuit mission, particularly in Spain and its colonies. His noble lineage connected the Jesuits to European aristocracy, adding to the order's power and influence. Arcana Arcanorum, this term, meaning secrets of secrets, is often used in esoteric and conspiracy contexts to refer to hidden knowledge or powers supposedly held by secret societies. In conspiracy narratives, it's suggested that the Jesuits, alongside the so-called Black Nobility, control these secrets. However, there is no credible historical evidence supporting these claims. Spanish Inquisition. The Spanish Inquisition was established by Catholic monarchs Ferdinand II of Aragon and Isabella I of Castile, long before the Jesuits were founded. While the Jesuits later became influential in Spain, the Inquisition and the Jesuits were separate entities. The idea that the Inquisition gained control over the Vatican through the Jesuits is another speculative claim without historical evidence. While the Jesuits have been a powerful and influential order within the Catholic Church, much of what is attributed to them in conspiracy theories is exaggerated or fabricated. The Jesuit order played a key role in the Counter-Reformation and in spreading Catholicism globally, but claims of them secretly controlling the Church or being involved in a grand conspiracy with the Black Nobility are speculative and lack credible evidence. Vatican City as a micro-state created by Mussolini in 1929. The idea that Vatican City is a micro-state created by Mussolini in 1929 is a simplification that often appears in discussions about the history of Vatican City. While it is true that the Vatican City State, as we know it today, was formally established in 1929, the story is more complex and involves centuries of historical context. Papal States. Before the unification of Italy, the Pope ruled over a vast territory in central Italy known as the Papal States. This territory was under papal control from the 8th century until the 19th century, serving as both the spiritual and temporal realm of the Pope. Italian unification. In the 19th century, the unification of Italy led to the gradual annexation of the Papal States by the Kingdom of Italy. By 1870, Rome was captured by Italian forces, and the Pope's temporal power was effectively ended. This led to a period of tension known as the Roman Question, where the Pope refused to recognize the authority of the Italian government and considered himself a prisoner in the Vatican. The Lateran Treaty of 1929, the tensions between the papacy and the Italian state were finally resolved with the signing of the Lateran Treaty on February 11, 1929. The treaty was negotiated between the Holy See and the Kingdom of Italy, under the leadership of Benito Mussolini, the Prime Minister of Italy at the time, and Cardinal Pietro Gasparri, the Vatican's Secretary of State. Creation of Vatican City. The Lateran Treaty recognized Vatican City as an independent sovereign state, distinct from Italy. This micro-state, which covers about 44 hectares, 110 acres, was established as the spiritual and administrative headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church. The treaty also granted the Holy See full ownership and sovereign jurisdiction over Vatican City. The myth that Mussolini created Vatican City in 1929 stems from a simplified interpretation of the Lateran Treaty's historical significance. While Mussolini's regime was instrumental in formalizing Vatican City's status as an independent micro-state, the Vatican's existence as the heart of the Catholic Church long predates the 20th century. In the next section, we'll explore the role of the Black Nobility in modern times. The Black Nobility in modern times. Many families traditionally linked to the Black Nobility continue to be among the wealthiest and most influential in Italy. They often own vast estates, art collections, and other significant assets. Their influence, while less overtly political than in the past, is still felt in various spheres, including finance, culture, and society. Some members of the Black Nobility have diversified their influence into modern business and finance, with investments in industries ranging from banking to real estate. These families often play a behind-the-scenes role in economic matters, leveraging their historical wealth and connections. Today, many of these families are involved in cultural preservation, philanthropy, and charitable activities. They fund and support art, heritage projects, and religious institutions, maintaining a public presence that is more symbolic and cultural than political. The connection between the Black Nobility and the Vatican remains a point of interest. While the political power of these families has waned, their historical ties to the Catholic Church persist. Some continue to hold influential positions within Vatican-affiliated organizations or maintain close relationships with church leaders. While the political influence of the Black Nobility has diminished, their role as symbols of continuity, heritage, and aristocratic tradition remains significant. They embody a connection to Italy's past, and their activities in cultural and philanthropic areas continue to shape public perception. The Black nobility's involvement in elite social networks, including ties to other European nobility and global elites, suggests that they remain part of a broader aristocratic network. Their influence may not be as overt or political as it once was, but they still hold a place in the global fabric of elite society. Throughout history, the Black nobility have played a crucial role in shaping European power dynamics. While their overt political influence has diminished, their legacy endures through wealth, cultural influence, and discreet participation in elite networks. Today, these families continue to be an integral part of high society, quietly influencing global conversations and decisions as the power of tradition meets with a subtle yet lasting impact on the modern world. Thank you for watching and joining us on this exploration of the Black nobility's fascinating legacy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who might be intrigued by the story of the Black nobility. See you in the next one.